How to become a scholar in school and fly.
Hey, so I just filmed a video just now and I wasn't too happy with the take, so I had to cut it because I found that I was literally like I was stumbling on my words and I was too busy trying to like position my camera, but my hand was shaking because I'm right-handed, so my right hand is holding the camera, and this could be a really long video, so maybe I'll get like a stand. But one of the reasons I'm making this video today, this is something I pushed back for so long, and like given my last two videos, as I've stated and as I've shared, that like, oh, because with my ex-girlfriend leaving and not saying goodbye, and it was just like, that was really, obviously I've been reflecting a lot, and one of the things I've been reflecting on and thinking about, not just on that situation, but also asking myself, what are the things in my life that I'm pushing back that I haven't really done, or I've thought I'm gonna make that video, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but I haven't really, but because of my things and things I'm busy with, I haven't really made the time with, but I feel bad about it. And so what are those? And then one of them is this video, and this video is about how to do well in school and how to soar and just fly, do really good in school and just blow everybody away, right? So it's, this video is for everyone. I'm a former special education student for special education, and people who are non-special education, people that are like, oh, I don't like school, I'm not good in school, or I don't know how to do well in school, or I don't know what I want to do with my life, or I'm doing well in school, but I'm like getting C pluses and I can't get B's and A's. I don't know why, and I need help. So it's for everyone, whether you're a middle school student, high school student, trying to get your GED, whether you're a community college student, undergrad student, master's degree graduate student, PhD, for everybody, right? So this video is for everyone, and I'll try to hit on this as quick as I can, because my thing is my arm might get tired and then I might have to switch my arm, but it would just be really strange. So I'll just try my best to keep this as simple as I can for everyone. So now the first thing I want to go over is this, right? There was a few steps, mind you. This is the finger that I stated in the last video that got sliced by that knife when I was trying to cut that cake. So I switched bandages. Yeah, it still feels strange, but it'll work. Anyway, so just go over a few steps. The first thing is, number one, everyone that's, first of all, if anyone's like, oh, I'm not good in school, school's not for me, understand this. School is like a rainbow. There's so many different colors. Just like an ocean, there's so many different fish. So if someone's like, oh, I'm not good in school, my grades suck, I hate school, it's not for me. No, you're wrong, because there's so many different subjects in school. There's so many different ways of learning. There's so many things you can do. School, honestly, it's all about finding what works for you and what you're going to enjoy. What are you going to shine in, right? Don't necessarily think, oh, because you're doing bad in something doesn't mean everything is bad for you. Like if I said oh, I'm not, it's like if you're not good at something, don't think everything else is bad. It's just like that one thing, oh, I don't like vanilla cupcakes, so everything here in this bake sale is garbage. Not true. If you just don't like the vanilla cupcake, but there's something else you might like. So understand that, right? There's so many opportunities and options in school that you can go anywhere. There's so many. You just got to find what works for you. So so get out of that mindset. So that's just number one, right? Number one. Number two, there's two different types of finals, right? So in school, there's one final where they're like, ladies and gentlemen, clear your desk, pull out the Scantron, put your notes away, pull out the number 2 pencil. You're gonna take this exam. That's the first one, right? Where you studied for night after, days, weeks, months, and then maybe not months, weeks for this exam. And then all of a sudden, you have to put all your notes away, circle A and B for the answer, boom, the end. And there's some teachers that will allow open notes, so have your notes if you want, right? Like when I took statistics, I had a formula sheet because my instructor allowed us to have formula sheets. So, but you have to write. So which is going to lead to my next one, which is the other type of final, which is, ladies and gentlemen, if you present this speech really well, if you present this presentation really well, if you present this monologue very well, if you write this essay or research paper or analysis paper really well, if you do the statistics exam really well, you write and you do it, you get an A. It's not multiple choice. There's no Scantron. It's more just do the task and you nail it. So those are the two types of finals, right? Now, the third thing I want to go over is this: the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. So there's, from what I can remember, is the left side of the brain. There's one half of the brain that's all about straightforward thinking. Like, think of it like music. The left side of the brain, right side of the brain. The left side of the brain is more. One side of the brain is gonna be, memorizing the lyrics and the melody. So if I were to sing an Ava Max song like, "Do you ever feel like a misfit? Anything inside you is dark and twisted. Oh, but it's okay to be different, 'cause baby, so am I." I'm singing that, but I'm not really, right now, I haven't sang in quite some time, so I was trying to sing from down here, and I'm just trying to focus and think about following the melody, right? But if I were to think about it so that's like the liberal art way of thinking, where it's like you just start singing the melody. But liberal art way of thinking is like liberal art major, like the opposite of science, which is, it's like ideas are scattered all over the place. You're singing only the melody and the lyrics, but you're not thinking about music theory. You're not thinking about your half steps. You're not thinking about, the singing with good breath support. So you have to think in terms of, so that's one side of the brain, the creative side, the artist. Then the other side is like the scientific, the very straightforward, the really Mozart really way of thinking, which is, you're singing, but you're thinking about the music theory. You're thinking about the half steps. You're thinking about get to the result. Just like math and science, the guy in the art classroom is painting, and then the guy is all about math and science, is doing math problems and focusing on getting the numbers. So it's like, so knowing the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, that's like your way of thinking. For me, I find myself in the middle. So I was told this by a really cool person I cross paths with in the work I do. And this person was really creative in what they do. And they told me, we were talking about this, and they said, Josh, you're more like the middle. You're more in the middle. And I told them, yeah, of course. I said I have to be, because of how I naturally think and everything. I'm a liberal art way of thinking, but I'm also a scientific way of thinking. So they work together. They go hand in hand. That's why I'm in the middle. There are some people that are like, there's just some people that are just more like on the liberal art way of thinking. There's some people that I've crossed paths with that are just flat out straight thinking, straight scientific, straightforward thinking. Mozart, Beethoven, like, we got to get the result, right? So it's so understand that. So then these things allow you to be aware, especially when I talk about the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. So then it allows you to ask yourself, what type of thinking am I? And am I in the middle? So knowing that, being aware. So now the other thing I'm going to go over is a mixture of now trial and error, right? So like, you got to figure out because the way I discovered what type of learner I am is I went to community college. I went to Mission College, right? Yeah, come on, shout out to Mission College, right? So it's great. I had a really great time. It was really, really amazing. And so I always go back and visit. When I go to the Bay Area, I always go back and visit the campus. Always, 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 right? And I say hi to my old teachers. I'll be like, hey, what's up? So it's like, I still keep in touch with a lot of the friends and so many people I met over there. So it's like, great time, but I learned so much about myself. So it's like, one of the things is I got C's in classes. Yeah, I did well. I was a Dean Scholar, but Dean Scholar is for for semester grades, not overall in general. So through trial and error and getting C's, I was able to realize and recognize what type of learner I am. That I did really well, and I felt confident and comfortable a lot more when I did classes that involved writing, that involved my final exam being a written exam. My final exam being, if I do the statistics exam really well, if I do the task really well on this exam, on this math exam, statistics, I get a good grade. Or when I took American government, it's like for the general ed, it was like, it's a matter of reading everything and then making connections and connecting everything. So I found, and even giving presentations in class, or when I got my minor in theater arts at San Jose State, I found that just like studying my lines and getting in touch with the character, doing the task, as I've stated, with the two learning styles, with the two type of finals, I do better at doing the task over and over, and I'll get a good grade. Like, you can't miss the target, right? Now, versus when I did the exams that required, like when I took general psychology and I had to clear your desk, ladies and gentlemen, or when I took sociology, right? It's like, clear your desk, ladies and gentlemen, pull out the Scantron. circle A and B as your answer, that was what would, like, I wouldn't do bad. I'd get C's, but I never could break in and get like an A or B on that type of test. I get like a C plus or a solid C or a C plus, but if it had been, I'd always think to myself, if it had been open notes, where I'd have my notes in front of me, or if it wasn't so much of, if I didn't struggle to break into the B range, then it would have been a different story. But no regrets. That's how I learned. And especially as now a media professional and what I do, a lot of work I do, it's like, it's technical. There's a lot of straightforward thinking and doing tasks and problem solving on a lot of technology. So for me, that's, you learn through trial and error, and also from work experience, and you learn about yourself, because I've stated this in another video, working builds character. So then that's just what I want to say. Like, that's one thing. The other side of it is do what you love to do. Do what you love. But you have to plan properly. In the beginning, I started off as a kinesiology major. I wanted to be an athletic trainer to soccer players in England. So it's like, so then there was even a former Chelsea doctor that used to work for Chelsea. Her name was Eva Carnero, and I used to take notes and watch everything she did, visual notes, and watch everything she did when she helped the players. And the way she would also talk about how she manages players and how she majored in sports science and everything. So for me, I wanted to go to England and do that. And so obviously kinesiology is not just a matter of talking about stretching and talking about soccer and knowing the game or watching what Eva's doing to fix somebody's broken nose. You have to take human anatomy, you have to take chemistry, you have to take a lot more than, you have to take a lot of science classes. And so I tried human biology. I took statistics. I sat in on a chemistry class. It's like before I enrolled, and it was like it wasn't working out. But at the same time, I still stuck to what I wanted to do. I still found a way, and when I was working in college, because a friend of mine told me, "Didn't you work in high school? Get back to work." So because of my friend, I started working, and then I'm like, I want to work in business and marketing. So I switched my major to communication studies. And I always stuck to what I wanted to do. And now, full circle, I'm now on the brink of working in sports media. I had an interview today for a sports media job today. Seriously. So, especially since yesterday I was talking about the struggles of yesterday. So it's just like, it's kind of like, so full circle. I always stuck to what I wanted to do. Yeah, I changed course. I changed the direction, but I ended up coming back. So it's crazy. You never know how things work out in life, right? So understand that. So that's just so stick to what you want to do. Don't just be like, oh, Josh, I'm gonna go and since I'm more of like a person who does finals, that does a task, I'm gonna just randomly pick up this career because I'll get the best grades, and even though it's not what I want to do. Don't do that. Do what you love to do, but work smart, plan properly, right? Now, if you're like, everyone is like, now knowing all this, now this gives you knowledge and perspective on what to do. Now, the other thing is, how do you, through trial and error, and I mentioned that, but also, how do you now put this into practice? Now, if you're like, I'm not a good student, or I'm in special ed and I want to go to college, but I'm like nervous I'll get bad grades and I'll be thrown out, it's like, go to community college. Because if I went to San Jose State right out of high school, I would have not have lasted. Because when I came to Mission College right out of high school, I didn't know it was actually this time 10 years ago I started. And it's like, I did not know how to write a college essay, and I was in special ed English all my life, so I did not know how to write a college essay, and it was just a different world. It was a different experience than special education in high school. It was a different world. I remember when I took orientation for Summer Bridge, the counselor literally told me, that was teaching the course, told me, God, like, you better get it together. You're not a high school kid anymore. Like, you're not in special ed. Like, you will be thrown out. Teachers will not grade your work. Your handwriting is terrible, and you will not do well here if you do not get it together. So that was really it was tough love on literally, I just enrolled in a college orientation class, and it was the point is, they toughened me up and it drove me. But the point is, going to community college was one of the best things that happened, because it set me up for success, and look at me now. And so I went to University of Southern California for graduate school in the end. So So I think that community college is a great option, and you'll meet a lot of people there. You'll get involved and you'll learn how to write a college essay. You're allowed to make a lot of mistakes in community college. You're allowed to get C's. You're allowed to learn. If you go to university, the expectation is up here. They expect you to know how to write a college essay. They expect you to, know the things that you're expected to know, like how to write a college essay, how to manage your time, how to study for classes. It's like I had a reading teacher in community college that taught us how to write. But he said that when he was in college, the teacher would walk in and say, "Hello, students, your essay is due next week." And then the teacher wouldn't even say how long the essay was, because the expectation was at the university level, we expect you to know this here. So I think, go to community college. That's an option. If you're the student that's like, I'm not good in school, but I want to give it a try now. I'm watching this video, or I'm not sure where to start. I don't have a good high school GPA or this GPA to get into a college right now. Go to community college. If you're in special ed and you're like, I'm nervous, go to community college. They'll give you the time, the energy, the space, and the resources to help you. Now, if you don't want to go to community college, if you're like, I'm determined to go to university and just kill it, I don't want to go to community college, no disrespect, I just don't want to go. Okay, so what I would suggest is, one thing that the university and the community college have in common is the general ed. So focus on your if you're like an undeclared major and you don't actually have a major at the moment, and you're watching this video and you're going to apply everything I'm sharing, but you're like, I want to go to university, but what do I do? I'm nervous. I don't want to get thrown out, or I don't want to fail writing a college essay. Take the general ed. Take general ed, focus on just your general ed basic classes, because the general ed allows you to focus on things that are important, like public speaking and all. You learn. At the same time, it's like, go for tutoring, get help. So if you're like, I went to San Jose State today and I got a bad grade on my essay, well, go for tutoring, because when I was at Mission College, I was always in tutoring, right? And even when I was at San Jose State, I always went for office hours to get papers revised. I'd get feedback, ask questions. I would literally, in my college classrooms, I'd take my notes, but then I'd have a separate piece of paper where I'd ask my questions. And then at the end of the class, I'd go to the instructor and I'd read my questions to them, and I'd write down the answers to those, because of the lectures, you listen. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, and I want to state this really clearly. There's nothing wrong with taking a semester off, to prioritize your mental health if you have to. If you're like, oh, I have anxiety, I'm talking fast like I did. I think I've talked about my anxiety a lot. I don't think did I? Yeah, I did. But maybe I'll go into more detail some other time, and I'll have like a marker board up here, like back here. But it's like, don't be afraid to, if you're like, now my arm's getting tired. Don't be afraid to say, look, my anxiety's up. I'm struggling mentally to keep up. I would say, don't be afraid to take a semester off to go and address your mental health and your physical health, and then come back. Because school's not going anywhere. School will always be there. Classes will always be there. But we only have one life, one you, right? So prioritize those things, right? Because if you're not good mentally and physically, don't expect to give your best and perform at your best and people to get your best. The other thing is, don't feel the need to, like, if you're struggling. I knew a good friend of mine, he's in San Diego. I called him actually a few months ago, but it's like to see how he was doing after so long. But he was struggling at the UC level. I went to community college with him. He graduated obviously before I did. He was just so sharp. He just finished in less than 1.5 years, but he went to a UC, he transferred to a UC, and he struggled at the UC level. So he came back to the community college I was at, Mission College. So now he's doing well and he's killing it. He went back to the university. So if you're at the university level and you're like, I'm struggling, I'm struggling, then there's nothing wrong with going to community college and leaving. A lot of people do that. Sometimes we have to take a step back to go forward, there's nothing wrong with, doing that, saying I'm going to leave my university and go to community college. That would be better. That's honestly the best, because then now you have the perspective of what are the expectations the university expects me to know. So now the community college will sharpen me up and make me better in those areas, sharp like a blade, sharp like a knife, to be good, right? So know that. So I'm just throwing all this out there to everyone, so then you guys understand all this, so this helps in some way, right? And the other thing that I'd say is go get a part-time job, go work, because if it wasn't for working, I'd probably still be in school, because working taught me a lot about myself. So go work in college, you learn about yourself and what you're passionate about, what you want to do. And you learn about money management, life, and everything. And it builds character and you mature. So get a part-time job. And have a good counselor that encourages you and helps you, that helps you through school, that helps you with an ed plan. Get a good guidance counselor, because they'll be there to help you. When I was in community college, it wasn't an easy road. I don't want to discuss all I can just say is I did have, this person is no longer working at this community college I went to. This person is retired, thank God. But they were not, I'm not saying they were bad, it's just they were not, I had to end up making my own ed plan and going through it by myself to a degree, because this person was not the best, but this person is retired. But as I look back, when I went to San Jose State after I transferred from community college, I was able to do so well at San Jose State because of everything I learned in community college. And one of them was getting a good guidance counselor and advisor to look over my classes to finish my degree. So when I got to San Jose State, I had an appointment with my advisor that was able to look over my courses and say, okay, you're doing well in your ed plan. I made it myself, and I'd have her look it over, and she'd say, good, but try to take that class later on. Take that class instead. And, take these 3, but don't take that one yet. So that's the thing. So have a good guidance counselor that's able to help you and encourage you and be there to help you out and encourage you. So, because it's like, if it wasn't for, my experiences at Mission College and being independent, and if I was dependent on a counselor, or if I wasn't able to think for myself, I would have probably still been there for a while, right? But I transferred out and it all worked out, thank God, right on time. But it's like, so that's just so all these things that I'm sharing, maybe I'll even probably edit this video and I'll make bullet points, but I don't think so. I was already thinking about, anyway, I'll save it for a surprise, but to switch up how I make these videos. But hopefully everything I've shared in this video helps. And yeah, maybe if I missed anything, leave anything in the comments, or if you have any questions, I'll make other videos connecting to this. But this is just, I almost forgot. The last very important thing is always aim for an A. Don't aim for a B. If you aim for an A, you get a B. If you aim for a B, you get a C. I remember when I was at Mission, I was aiming for B's. When I was getting C's, I was aiming for B's, but I didn't understand why I kept getting C's. But it wasn't until I transferred to San Jose State, I started aiming for A's, and I completely killed it, nailed it, right? Because if you aim for an A, you get a B. So always aim for an A. Always aim high. So even if you're like, oh, I aimed for an A, but I ended up getting a C at the end of the quarter, you fought to the end to get a B or to get an A. So your mindset automatically is you're gonna be pushing to get out of the C range to get an A or B, because you're aiming for an A all the time. You're fighting to the end. It's like boom, boom, boom. But if you're aiming low, you'll get low. So even because it's like when I was at San Jose State, I took a communication class that pushed me a lot, but I aimed for an A the entire summer. And it's like I got a C, but yet I took other classes along with that to get my minor in theater. So those were really good grades. So that those A's had more weight than the C, so I was good. But I fought all summer long to get an A, and I was fighting between a B minus, and it was like I was in the B range, but then I fell to a C, and then it was not an easy class, but I kept pushing for an A. And it was like when you do that, when you aim high and you're pushing for that A, you're gonna be focused, you're gonna be hungry, you're gonna be driven, and then at the end of the semester, you're gonna nail your classes, you're gonna nail that class because you're fighting to the end, you're fighting for that, right? And the other thing I do is write all your goals down on a piece of paper and read them in the morning and read them at night. I've been doing it now since community college, and in community college, I was on and off doing it, but then after I passed statistics, because that's what got me through statistics, is reading my goals, and that was to do well in statistics. Once I did that, I'm like, let's keep this going, and I've been doing it ever since, right? So write your goals down on a piece of paper, do well in school, whatever it is, or get your driver's license, or to buy a car, or to, learn how to dance, or whatever it is, right? Or start lifting, write your goals down on a piece of paper front to back, and then, or however long it is, whatever's in your heart, read it in the morning, read it at night, and then before you go to bed, read it twice a day, and it'll happen for you. And think positive thoughts, play over and over you doing well in school or doing well in the things you want to do well in, and you'll be okay because you're preparing your body, your nervous system for success. So that's it for this video. I've shared a really important things. If I missed anything, maybe I'll make another follow-up video and I'll make a playlist of all the things how to do academically. But hopefully this helps somebody. Take care. Hey, so I was just watching the video over, editing it, and I realized that, because I'm going to add some things different to, because usually I just record and I play, but I'm just watching the video and editing it, and I just realized like I didn't add in this could be the bonus clip. The other point I wanted to share, bonus clip. You know, there's in-person learning and online learning. So in-person learning is you go to classes, you know, and the teacher's teaching. But online learning is everything is online. So the teachers will post the lectures, you listen to them, and you do the work at your own pace. I found that when COVID-19 hit, I just graduated community college, and then my first 2-3 semesters at San Jose State were all online, and then the times I was in person were my final 2 semesters of undergrad at San Jose State. But I found that like going full online because of COVID allowed me to work a lot more hours at my job. And I would say I even worked, I think, yeah, I did. I was taking an online winter class before I graduated, and I was working 2 jobs in the winter. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if that class was not online. So it all depends on your situation. For me, online was really great. I really enjoyed it. I can go at my own pace. I could work more hours at work, and you know, and it was like, you know, it's just like with online, you have that flexibility, and I didn't feel as stressed out. Actually, I felt when I was at San Jose State, I didn't feel any form of, my stress levels with school were a lot lower because online you go at your own pace. But it's not like in person. In person, you meet your classmates, your peers, you interact with the teacher. That's how memories are formed. That's how connections are made. So grades are not everything, but that's just what I want to share. So I discovered when I went to San Jose State, I like in person, I can do in person, but online was phenomenal. So I can do a mix of both worlds. And I would say that also enjoy the journey of school. Grades are not the most important. Just give your best, do your everything, give your all. And you can have, as a teacher once told me, he told me, Josh, let me tell you something. You can have any job you want if you're willing to work hard for it. So he's right. And as a professional now, out of school for 3 years now, after post-undergrad 3 years, and obviously I went back and did more schooling, I've realized he's right. It's all about how hard you work, and grades are not everything. It's the journey, it's the process. So have fun, get involved on your college campus, make friends, enjoy the journey, and enjoy the process. Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed that video. Like, subscribe, and put in the comments what you'd like me to make more videos of. And thanks for watching.